We have some breaking news as a new report from Elliotte Friedman has outlined that the New York Rangers have made a major decision, and that is that they are going to sign Alexis Lafreniere to a massive contract extension. And some of the details are pretty shocking. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch your videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And of course, some bigger news coming out today for the Rangers. Of course, the big debacle online last night with Matt Rempe being sent down to the Hartford Wolfpack. And if you missed that video, it's on the channel with everything broken down in that one. But today we will be focusing on the Rangers making their decision on Alexis Lafreniere. It looks like they're about to sign him to a massive contract extension, and that contract extension could happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. This is happening. It's an imminent signing. It's about to happen. It could happen at the time I'm recording this. It could happen as soon as I upload this. It could happen tomorrow, but it sounds like the Rangers have made their decision, and contract talks between the New York Rangers and Alexis Lafreniere and, of course, his agent and his camp are intensifying. So, Friedman says we'll see where this goes, but some other reporters are stating that they already have the number and the term, and this is from Larry Brooks in New York. The Rangers are closing in on a Lafreniere extension. Told by industry sources, it will be a 7-year deal coming in at under $7.6 million. That is a heist for the New York Rangers. That is one of the best value contracts in the National Hockey League at this point in time. That's better than the Byfield contract, which already was a bit of a steal for the LA Kings. This is the best valued contract if it gets signed at this exact term and money, I should say, AAV in the entire National Hockey League for the New York Rangers. Great deal from Chris Drury, and you know what? I'm saying this, but he hasn't really put together a regular season yet that is worthy of a massive contract extension, right? But we saw a glimpse of it last season in not only the end of the regular season, but obviously in the playoffs. And he's come into this season with that same confidence as last year. It's pretty evident. He's been brilliant so far this season. So obviously that's some pretty big news. And this is from 32 Thoughts the other day from Friedman, and this is from Phil, who put the quote in his tweet. I understand why the Rangers would crave maximum term with Alexis Lafreniere, but I'm not convinced he'd want to do that. An 8-year deal takes him through his age 31 season, cutting down on the ability to strike again in his prime. Now, I found this very interesting. This was just a couple days ago. This was just 2 days ago Friedman said this, and when you look at what's reported today, yeah, he's not getting the maximum term at 8 years, but he's getting a 7-year contract. This is a 7-year deal, so it's going to take him to his age 30 season. So he is skipping out on his prime still, but great value for the Rangers here, especially because it looks like Lafreniere is going to be at least a point-a-game player, which with the salary cap going up every year, the Rangers are going to be able to do some damage if they're able to sign him to under $8 million a year. That's very exciting for Rangers fans. And we have some thoughts from the fan base. We'll get a pulse on the fan base. You know, a lot of people don't like what Chris Drury did this offseason, what he's done with the team so far. But you have to admit that the pieces are most certainly there for the New York Rangers. And I thought this was a good point by Mark. So basically, Alexis Lafreniere and Vincent Trocheck combined are going to make what Austin Matthews makes. Now, you're not going to get as much goal scoring out of him, but you have two very efficient players who are playing on what I'm calling the Rangers' first line, right, with Panarin joining them. And the two best contracts in the NHL at the moment, A+ Chris Drury. Now, of course, that's Mark's opinion, right? A lot of people are down on Chris Drury, like I said, but you have to admit he's put a lot of really good pieces together here. And this is from NYR. Louis, 7 times 7.6 would be such a good deal for Alexis Lafreniere, a deal that will look like a steal in 2026, not even 2026. Right now, this would be a steal for this player based on his projection for what he's going to do this season and what he did in last year's playoffs. And we can get into some of his stats as well so far this season. And I mean, when you look at his career numbers, right? everything is slowly catching up now. He had a very slow start to his career, and I think it's because of the time he came into the league. Obviously, there was a couple shutdowns in 2020, 2021. You're not getting full seasons. You're not playing in front of people. You're not able to develop properly, right? And his draft season was halted, right? So I feel like his career was, off to not the greatest start, and it had nothing to do with him. It was not his fault, but clearly, last season in the playoffs, putting on a show. This year in the regular season, the Rangers have played 7 games. They've only lost twice, one of them being in overtime to Utah. He has 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points in 7 games so far this season. And one thing I love about Alexis Lafreniere is that he's an equal distribution player. And what I mean by that, and I've always really admired this about him, especially last year and, through his junior career, is he's not the type of player that's going to score 50 goals for you and get 20 assists, or he's not going to be assist heavy and get you 50 assists and only 20 goals on the year. He's going to get you, I'm just throwing this number out there, right? Not specifically, but he's going to get you like 30 goals and 32 assists. He's going to be even distribution through the year. He can do both. He can score, he can get those apples, right? He's a really, really good player there. And you see him being responsible defensively this season as well. And I think that's something that's going to help pay dividends for the Rangers moving not only into the future when this deal kicks in, but obviously this year in their ultimate goal of chasing the Stanley Cup. And obviously there's a few other things that have to happen for that to happen, but like them playing a heavier style of game. But it's a really good thing to see Lafreniere coming on strong like this. And further to report, this is from Puckpedia just a couple seconds ago from Brooksy. The deal is not finalized yet. And of course, there's speculation online that is coming very, very shortly. Like Elliotte Friedman said, it could happen in the next day or two. It could happen very, very soon. They are expecting the New York Rangers to sign Alexis Lafreniere to a 7-year, 7.45 is what it says here, cap hit extension. I'm seeing 7.6 on Twitter right now, and most reports from Brooksy are 7.6. So I think we're going to see somewhere in the 7.6 area because, it's closer to 8 million. I think he probably wanted 8 million. But again, great value for this player. He's a point a game player so far this year. I would suspect that he's going to be over a point a game once everything is all said and done at the end of this season. And you know what? He's only 23 years of age. A lot of growth still in his game that can be had there. I mean, this is a really good valued contract for one of the Rangers' young superstars. He's going to be a superstar in this league. It's a great value contract. So I love that for the New York Rangers. And again, he was wanting, to go through his prime, right? Or he doesn't want to go through his prime, with that contract extension. It sounded like he was wanting maybe a 4 or 5 year deal, like most superstars are doing in the league now. But it seems as if, he's made his decision. The Rangers have made their decision as well. They want to lock him up long term, and that's a good thing for a Rangers fan. But yeah, great output this season for Alexis Lafreniere, and I think he's only going to get better. And again, a great goal last night against the Florida Panthers. A disappointing result against the Florida Panthers, but it looks like we have our answer. The New York Rangers want to sign Alexis Lafreniere. Alexis Lafreniere wants to be a New York Ranger. They both want it to be long-term, and it looks like it's going to get done very shortly here in the next day or two. So let me know in the comments what you think of the contract extension for this player, the term, and of course, the AAV. What do you think of the money every year? I think it's a great value contract. It is arguably the heist of the century for the New York Rangers. This is a great player that they're adding to their lineup. And one last thing to mention, they have to free up some salary cap space. I'm going to make another video on this, but it sounds like there were up to 20 teams interested in Jacob Trouba this past offseason. So I don't think the Rangers are going to have a hard time moving off some salary this offseason to make room for players like this. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.